Every team, every topic, everywhere. This is Believe.
Hey everyone, this is Kelsey Flower, and you're listening to Zero Dark Nerdy.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Zero Dark Nerdy, the world's most notorious pop culture podcast.
The filthiest of the filthy.
This is your boy Brian, a.k.a. El Nino, and today I'm joined with
Mateo, a.k.a. Brown Summer.
And we got in the, studio via satellite, whatever it may be, good old Kelsey Flower, who played Lance in Black Summer. Kelsey, how are you doing today, my friend?
Good, guys. Thanks for having me.
Hey, man, thank you for joining us. So, while we have you here, obviously, we've seen you in Black Summer, and there is going to be spoilers ahead out there, so we are going to warn you. And I don't know what you're not doing. You should be watching Black Summer. It should already finish season 2.
Been out, guys. Get into it.
So, fuck the spoilers. Let's just have a good time with
exactly.
Mr. Flower.
That's right. So, when it came to Black Summer, tell me a little bit about the process as far as like the audition. And obviously it's filmed in your hometown, so I know that had to be pretty cool. But what was that like as far as just the audition process? Was Lance the character that you originally auditioned for? And just kind of go from there.
Yeah, for sure. So, I mean, you always hear in this business, it's like, it's all who you know and who the networking. They just don't tell you it doesn't pay off for probably about 10 years. But I had done a film with a guy, Jason Wan Lim, who ended up being the line producer for Black Summer. And I was just back in Calgary visiting him. And I was like, so what's you got going on? He's like, well, I'm trying to get this little zombie show to Calgary. And being an actor, you're like, oh, is there a part? Is there a part for me? Is there a part for me?
Right.
So he's like, maybe, man, like actually like, and then like a week later, he's like, man, there's this part, this guy named Lance, you might be right for. So then I emailed my agents and got an audition for it. And it turned out, I guess it went pretty well.
So with that being said, like, did they go ahead and give you the heads up? Like, because you, of all people, I was telling Matthew this, I don't think I've ever seen anyone run as much in a zombie show, movie, trilogy. I mean, you are running your ass off in this thing. Like, did they let you know? Like, hey, we see that you like mountain biking. We see that you're very outdoorsy. Like, how much do you enjoy running? Because you're going to be doing a shitload of it.
Oh man, yeah. I mean, luckily I knew the stunt coordinator on it, Adrian Young, and I had done a play with him when I was living in Calgary, and he kind of just texted me off the side, being like, "Yo, man, cardio." I'm just saying, like, start it right now, because I'm like, I'm decently active, but I love beer. I love tacos, man. That's what I was doing, and nothing can really prepare you for that kind of, because it's, every time you see me sprint, that was like at least 8 to 12 times.
Wow.
Just that one scene, and the costume with the layers and the jean jacket and the Van shoes. So
not exactly Under Armour.
Not quite. Yeah, I should have been drinking beer the whole time, I think. But yeah, it was a good. I got my steps in. I'll say that.
It sure looked like it, brother. Oh my goodness, Matt, what you got?
I mean, it's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
Oh man. Yeah.
So, are you into? I saw you also did Amityville, right?
Oh, the Amityville Witch Project?
Yes,
Mm-hmm.
yes.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So
man.
Sorry.
We stalked you.
Yeah. Deep dive. I love it.
You, so is horror your thing, or you're open to anything, or?
It's so funny. Like I'm a scaredy cat when it comes to horror. Like honestly, like I will watch it, and there's some amazing work out there, but I will have nightmares. I gotta sleep with a nightlight kind of thing. I'm scared, but I just keep getting cast in horror things, and Black Summer. I was
faces for it, huh?
I know, it's like typecast. But Black Summer was like my 5th zombie show, and then Amityville Witch Project was just a fun little thing I was doing with my roommates here in Toronto, just kind of for fun. So I guess I'm just attracted somehow. My subconscious is subtracted to horror films.
That's how you beat the nightmares. You just got to keep submersing yourself.
You got to conquer your fears, right? Yeah, exactly. You're
Is
scared of
it working?
skydiving. Exactly.
Are you down to one nightlight now? You still have the two, or
I still got the 2. You don't want to rush these things, Brian. You don't want to rush.
Baby steps. Love it. So I meant to ask you that. It's funny you mentioned that. Did Zomboos, did that kind of prepare you a little bit for Black Summer?
Man, that's so funny. I guess a tiny bit, but they are polar opposites. Genre wise. But I did have to do a lot of running in Zomboos, coincidentally enough. I got used to. So there was that. I until Black Summer, I had my comedic zombie relationship, and then Black Summer happened, and it was the opposite. So I'm familiar with zombies. I just can't laugh at them anymore.
Not in this show. I tell you what, it is probably, as far as the way they shoot it, one of the most kind of intense shows I've ever seen. Like even more so than Black Mirror, which usually gets my anxiety on like 10. But Black Summer is right there with it. Just the suspense. And like I said, it's shot very similar to me, almost kind of like a Call of Duty, just as far as a lot of the shots are, where you feel like you're right there. And is that something that they wanted to like instill from, I mean, because the first episode, I just love the storylines and how it all goes back to that car that's on fire. And it's just, it's not your typical show.
Like Crash.
Right, right. Yes. Very, very solid point. So is that something like they let you know and like kind of upfront, like, hey, listen, this is not going to be your Walking Dead. Like it's going to have this totally more terrifying feel, but with these stories that kind of interconnect throughout the episodes.
They gave us a little bit of it, but it's until you see it on the screen, you don't actually fully know like what they're going after. And when you see it, I mean, it's so nice, even as an actor, even when you're there, like we're all seeing it on screen for the first time too. And you get to view this thing as an audience member. And I was also blown away. And it's funny you mentioned that because I've heard a lot of people compare it to a video game type feel where it's just so intense and it's go, go, go. And I heard that the guys, the creators of, John Himes, they were kind of looking for actors who had a bit of theater experience because there's a lot of as you guys know, a lot of one takes and a lot of long action and choreography. So they kind of were attracted to actors who had some kind of long form training. Which was just so cool to see and so nice that I had done a bit of theater.
it definitely shows.
Evil Dead the musical trained me for.
Oh, nice.
I did not know that was a thing.
I didn't. Well, I knew it was a thing, but no, that's great.
Oh, you guys got to go sit in the splatter zone. It's a fun time.
You had me at splatter.
Yeah, had me at Evil Dead. Now you
if I had a nickel.
So as far as upcoming projects that you have coming up, are you going back to theater? Obviously, we've seen on Instagram. You're a hell of a musician, by the way. You got a great voice, singing. I didn't know if you had like an album coming out as well. Like you're kind of the dual threat, and then of course you add the sprinting on there. You could be on the Olympic team as well. So just out of curiosity, what is next?
I just didn't make it this Summer Olympics. I was right there, man. No, man, thank you very much for the compliment. It's funny, the pandemic pretty well quashed theater for a while, but I would really love to go back and do that. It was kind of my first love of acting and everything. But also the pandemic really kind of shed light on like, what are the things that you want? And it's funny that you think that you say an album, because I've kind of decided and I've hooked up with a producer and I really would like to make an EP and release it hopefully sometime this year. And it's because it's really nice to have that kind of creative itch that has nothing to do with acting. And I can, it's so nice with the music, you can do it every day.
Do you have a catalog, like some stuff built up that you can actually put out?
Well, I have 2 songs recorded right now. We're just kind of mixing and mastering them. This is all new to me. I don't even really know what mastering is or mixing. I mean, I know mixing when it comes to drinks, but other than that, so I have a couple recorded. I'm hoping to get 4 recorded for the EP, but I ended up writing about 18 songs over the pandemic.
Wow.
And I think about 5 of them are good. So I think I'd love to record them just purely for fun.
Sure. Sure. And I'll tell you what, when you drop that EP, let us know. We'll have you back on the show and pump the hell out of it because I love watching the videos.
My boys. Yeah, we're going to have some Canadian beers and celebrate it. Yeah. And then I got a couple other of their film projects coming up, but I can't talk too much about them right now. But
Will you be running?
That's in my contract. I have to run at all times.
You just have to shorten the takes.
At all times.
You get 2 takes. You better get
you
it
get
right.
2 takes. That's it. That's it. Well, and it's so funny because they were so passionate. Abram Cox is one of the other co-directors for it, and just one of the takes, one of my favorite directions he ever gave me, was like, "All right, we're gonna have you running down the street." And I was like, "Okay, where do you want me to go?" He's like, "Just go to the horizon and just keep going."
And Abram, I was running.
Yeah. I was like, I'm gonna need a Gatorade. All right.
So speaking of Gatorade, I'm glad you brought that up. Do you have anything in your like rider or whatever, as far as in your trailer, like you have to have like any must-haves as far as just snacks and candy or drinks or anything like that?
I don't have anything fancy, like other than just, like water and just essentials. And I'm an Irish fella, so sunscreen is I think I'm sunburning right now. I'm getting a little but other than that, although I will say I've become a huge fan of the bubbly. It's kind of like the La Croix drinks, because you feel healthy. You can have a 6-pack in a can. That's what it feels like.
Healthy. Yeah.
Real healthy. Yeah.
Like Trulies and White Claws.
Exactly. Yeah. It's like a White Claw. Perfect.
So do you feel prepared for a zombie apocalypse?
Oh, man, not at all. Although I will say I bet my cardio is much better now. So I got the running thing down, but, Lance, I connected with Lance and on many levels when I think a few people have. It was like, we all want to be Spears, but most of us are Lance.
Do you have a favorite scene that you shot? And it just kind of like, I guess maybe 2-part question, because I love the scene at the finale of season 1 where you guys are trying to make the stadium. So I guess kind of 2-part. A, is that one of your favorite scenes? And B, how much fun is it like to play with the guns and get to learn how to shoot them and try to make it look as natural as possible?
Oh man, I do really love that scene. The one where I'm running around the stadium was shot at McMahon Stadium in Calgary.
Okay.
Which I as a kid, like I love the Calgary Stampeders. So, and like I got to invite basically my whole family to come watch that day.
Nice.
So that was super special for me, just with that. And there's lots of zombies and there's lots of smoke and all that stuff. So that was pretty special for me, just to be like, to come back to this place, have my family watching. There's the episode 4, which was kind of just me and the zombie. And that was the first thing I had ever shot on Black Summer. That was the first thing I did. And it was basically just me and Abram, and the stunt guy, Chad, just kind of running around. And it felt so intimate and so special. So it's hard to pick a favorite scene, but that last scene, I think the library, kind of where the guy saves my life.
Oh yeah.
I see he's been bit and I kind of have to take matters into my own hands, was just so, just felt very transformative for the character and fun as the actor. But there was just a lot of great moments in that whole season, which was so fun.
Yeah, I got to think that, if you know the guy's name, it's a little easier, right? It's not as scary.
Yeah, totally. But he got into it, man. He like the stunt guys that we worked with were also phenomenal actors, man. They scared the shit out.
Yeah, see?
And he's a stunt guy, so he's quite in good shape, and I was not as good as in shape. And a little movie magic to think that I could outrun him.
That's rad.
Oh man. So Matthew, if you can think of something else, I'm gonna pull up some of the fan questions real quick.
Okay.
Pressure's on, Matt.
Are you a Canadian citizen or United States?
A Canadian citizen.
Canadian citizen. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. So you had to stay at your parents' house while everybody else was put up in a hotel. What was up with that? They were just like, yeah, you're on the show, but here's the deal. You don't get to stay in the hotel.
Well, it was just kind of, it's one of those things where it was like, oh man, I'd love to be a part of this. Like, and and I was like, hey, I can work as a local, just to make it a little more intriguing to cast me. And so they cast me as a local, which means there's not room in the budget for
Hey, it got you on the show, so
exactly. And I do it again and again and again, but it was still hanging out in the parents' basement and then
a badass day of killing zombies and running and shit, and then
exactly, going from totally, and just kind of like being on the phone with those guys, being like, "Yo, what are you guys doing? My mom could drive me down. What's up? I think my curfew is extended. Yeah, I got my allowance this week. Let's go."
So speaking of which, I mean, especially by the pictures on your Instagram, it looked like you and the cast like just had a blast. I mean, did you guys kind of hit it off from the first table read, or did it take a little bit to work up to? Because especially by the end of it, I mean, you guys definitely look like just a tight-knit family in the behind-the-scenes stuff that we saw.
Oh man, I felt so fortunate, but it was pretty well instantaneous.
Nice.
I think they really just had they had the kind of luxury of being able to cast like they really wanted like no names, really. I mean, other than of course Jamie King, but they just gave so many people a chance to. They just cast people truly who were right for the role, and people, and it really gave people a shot that people had been working, but it was a lot of our big first project. And we all kind of really bonded with that. We all kind of were in the trenches together a little bit sometimes, which can really bond you. And they're just all very, very kind people. And everyone was just so excited to be there.
Yeah.
I got them to show them around the sweet spots in Calgary. So they needed me. So they had to.
Yeah. Tour guide.
There you go.
The tour guy, yeah. Tubby Dog. You got to go. Shout out to Tubby Dog.
How soon did you know how far you would get in season 2?
Oh, man, it took a long time. I don't know exactly how long it took, but
you knew there would be a season 2?
I found out there would be a season 2. I think it was like 8 months after the premiere. And then it was literally that thing of like getting sent the script and reading it and being like, oh, wait, is that okay? But is it a flashback? Wait, what? Kind of thing. But it was, that's kind of the way it goes. Sometimes everyone gets sent the script. And John Himes, he was kind enough to phone me up and be like, so here's the deal. So it took a while for me to find out, but I was just very happy to be coming back at all.
That's awesome.
And then hopefully, just like you said, some flashbacks, because I mean, you did kind of get split up from the group. So we'd like to see. I was dying to know. I was like, well, what were you doing the whole time besides just siphoning gas? Because I mean, obviously there's more to it.
Me too.
Get to writing, brother.
Yeah. Listen up.
No, I'd love, and it was just like, obviously I was disappointed because it's so rare to work with so many people that you love.
Right.
But it's also the reason that show got the hit and the notoriety it did was because those guys just stuck to their vision and just were non-apologetic about their vision. And that's the people you want to work with. And those are the people that make great things.
Love it.
Was there a hometown premiere? Like a big
the first season we got to do like a little screening of the first episode in a bar. It was basically like the rap party.
Okay.
We got to do it in one of the bars that I was familiar with. So it felt like a homecoming thing, but it was pretty intimate, but it was still pretty fun to see everything.
Right on.
Nice. So one of the questions from one of the fans you kind of answered already. This is from on Instagram, Felicia.Ray, W-R-A-Y. I hope that's how you say it. When can I expect an album of your vocal chops? Release something soon. So,
Oh wow! Oh,
like I
that's
said,
great.
you got more fans than
got a
just us
following.
out there.
Man, screw this
chops.
acting thing.
It's just a side gig for you now.
I didn't hear the whole handle, but I think Felicia, if it's the right Felicia, she's been our number one fan for from day one.
Nice.
She's a lovely, lovely
Well, you
person.
planted her.
Oh, you're right. Yeah. That's my mom.
Make sure
Actually,
you check out my album.
Mom, create a handle.
Yeah, it's your mom. Okay.
I think I owe my mom
Not
$20.
Lance's mom.
Hashtag Lance's mom 62.
There you go. And I will say this too. This was honestly the most questions we've gotten for anything we've ever hey, what do you want to ask? So there was a bunch of people chiming in. So I had to kind of narrow it down a little bit. So and you've answered a bunch of them. But that was
yeah. Well, hopefully sometime this year. That's the plan. Yeah.
there you go. And this one is from Pia _Delpo. In the same situation, would you take similar decisions as the one your character made?
Also from I think it was my dad. But I'd hope, this is all hypothetical. I would hope I'd be a little more cognizant of closing doors behind me. And, maybe, being a little more dexteric with the axe in my hand.
Yeah.
But I really, I would probably be pretty close. So, when that scene where Lance is like because he's so dehydrated and he's so desperate for normal. And I probably would grab, the Miller Lite and the Shreddies as well, so.
Of course.
Don't blame you.
Delicious combination.
There you go. And again, a lot of these questions you already answered, but I want to give shout outs. Justice for Lance asked about your favorite memory from filming.
Justice for Lance.
Yeah. I think that's one of the fan pages, which is awesome.
We're making t-shirts.
There you go. More and more plants in there.
That was your cousin.
Yeah.
Trying to make a dime.
STOPHXN. I don't know how to say that, but asked about upcoming projects, which you answered. And then you answered about being killed off, and that was from Steven Joskier. And again, big thank you to all our fans out there for Kelsey as well as here on Zero Dark Nerdy for bringing in the questions. So I was watching a YouTube clip when you were a guest with Erica. Is it How her last name?
Erica Howe, yeah.
Yeah, How who plays Carmen on the show when you were on Noches con Platanito. The Spanish show.
Platanitas.
That's it. So how was that? And I saw you. It was a lot of head nodding, obviously, but you were. I mean, I thought you were doing great, but just initially, what was your kind of reaction to being like, all right, yeah, I'll do it?
Yeah, it was a lot of what is this? What's good? They know I don't speak any Spanish, right? Let's be very clear. And they were just so friendly, and the team was so fun. And also Erica being there too was a huge okay, let's do this together. Her and I got along super well, and it was just a nice excuse. And one of the films a short film I had written and produced happened to be in a Newport Beach Film Festival, and so the timing just worked out really well. So I was like, oh, well, let's do it. Let's do it. And I got to say, it was one of the most fun experiences I've had. They were so kind. I was pretty impressed because I'm wearing an earpiece the whole time.
Yeah.
So he says a question in Spanish and then someone quickly translates it in English.
Yeah.
And then I got to go. And then the game was just me throwing pies at zombie chickens. So what better way to spend a Sunday afternoon, It was so fun, and they were all so lovely. Nice. Is that something that you personally enjoy as an actor, is doing the publicity, kind of touring kind of thing? Because I know some people hate it, some love it, some love and hate it. I mean, how do you feel about it? It's so subjective to each interview, and to spend for instance, this is so laid back and so fun, and you can actually talk like a human being, you know, and that show was really good. It's the calculated stuff. But to be honest, I haven't done a lot of it. But all the stuff that I've been able to do has been really fun, and it's fun to talk about it and fun to hear people reacting to work that you've done and put a lot of hard work into. So for the most part, I've enjoyed it so far.
Nice. Excellent.
Who's your favorite band?
Ooh, good question.
My favorite band. You know what? I have a wide array of favorite bands, but I was just to represent my Canadian boys, the Arkells. They're from Hamilton, and there's just an awesome, just like garage band style. And I'm gonna sound super old, but I don't get the like computerized, synthesized electronic stuff, and that's fine if you do. But I like give me a bass, a guitar, and some drums anytime. So the Arkells, and they will be the first band I see outside of the pandemic, which is I'm very much looking forward to.
Awesome. So, speaking of which, too, I know it's a little bit different in Canada than in the U.S. How are things now as far as recently with the, pandemic, even though there's this whole Delta thing, but, are things pretty much opening back up, like kind of getting back to normal? Like, what's that been like up in the north?
Yeah. The cold really killed it all.
Isn't that the
I take my, the sled dogs to my igloo. It's pretty relaxed. No, it's been slow going, but the vaccine numbers are just climbing up and up for sure. So of course we have the Delta here, which is scary, but just our numbers for vaccinations are just going up and up. And I live in Toronto, which has been the slowest to reopen, but things are starting to slowly creep back to normal for sure.
Gotcha.
Some pretty people in Toronto.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Yes.
Yeah.
I was specifically talking about that beard.
Thank you. Yeah, some pretty beards.
That's a good looking beard, bro. So who are some actors and actresses that, you looked up to coming up in the game, and, who you now still consider just inspirations?
Oh, man. So Sam Rockwell has always been my guy. Nice. Sam Rockwell is just every single thing he touches, from Moon to like Charlie's Angels. He's just like a guy that you just can't ignore. Every time Philip Seymour Hoffman, I can't get enough of. And like even in like was he in Dead Poets? Was it Dead Poets Society where he was? Or no, Scent of a Woman. Mm-hmm. Where he's like the young student, and even in that scene where he's in like only a couple scenes, and it's just like, who is this guy? And I've always, and of course, like it's cliche to say, but Meryl Streep is insane.
Yeah,
she can do no wrong, and she's just. It's not even like I want to be that. It's just like I'm glad that exists, because I don't know.
You got like, the worship glow, man. You just can't deny it.
Yeah, I'm glowing right now just thinking about it. Yeah. Meryl Streep, season 3, Black Summer. Let's do it.
Queen Zombie.
The campaign starts now.
Oh man, well that's like the majority of my questions, man. Yeah. Anything else?
No, it's been really great.
This has been awesome. I wish
I
had more. It's just so awesome to talk to you. It's super laid back. So
come to Greensboro, we'll have a beer.
Yeah, if you're ever in North Carolina, please, Lord, let us know.
Yeah, oh, for sure. Yeah, no, you guys have been a pleasure to talk to, man. It's super laid back and super fun. And hey, when the EP drops,
yes,
hey, anytime you want to come on, it doesn't have to just be for the EP. You can come on the show anytime. So
oh yes, let's do it. Like, when the world doesn't have enough of sad breakup songs. We need it. We need that in our lives.
There you go. Well, actually, one quick question from us. This is something we always ask our guests in terms of pop culture. What are some genres, whether movies, TV shows, video games, whatever it may be, like what are just some of your all-time favorites?
Oof. Oh man. All-time favorites. It was always like growing up, we had like 2 movies in our house, and it was like Grease and Forrest Gump. And those, so like nostalgia. Yeah, no, pretty good, right? I think Camelot was in there as well. So I just really, those ones nostalgically are just so in me for sure. Like many people, The Office was a game changer for me, for just like, oh my God, you can really do crazy, goofy comedy mixed with heartfelt, incredible acting. And that.
Which did you see first, the British or the U.S.?
I watched a bit of the British, and then I don't know if it was kind of mixed. I kind of watched them at the same time, a little bit, because I kind of discovered them almost at the same time. But they're just so different by the end of by when they both find their groove. But the American Office is just so perfect in my book. I mean, the British Office is incredible as well, but that's the one that there's just a lot more hope and heart, I think, in the American one. And then most recently, I don't know if you're familiar with Bo Burnham, but his new special Inside just came out, and I think I've watched it 4 times now. I
was thinking of that when you were talking about how many songs you've written.
Yeah.
And, in this pandemic, and that's his whole thing.
Yeah. Jeffrey Bezos.
Oh, my God, man.
I saw you post that, too. I was like, God, it's so good.
It's so good. It's just incredible. Like, they're so poignant and so, like part of, like, the zeitgeist right now, but they're also such catchy songs. They get stuck in your head. You're just, like, doing dishes, singing to Jeffrey Bezos.
Awesome, brother. Well, listen, again, thank you so much for joining us. Hang out with us for just a second. We'll do the outros and all that stuff later. So for those of you out there in Facebook world, thank you guys for watching. We'll have the full audio podcast out tomorrow, Friday at the very latest. Be sure to like, subscribe, follow, all that fun stuff. Kelsey Flower, again, thank you so much for joining us. Hold on one second. For those of you on Facebook, be sure, like, subscribe, and we'll see you next time.
Peace.
All right.
Yeah! Victory!
And anger management?
Fuck anger management.
Thank you for listening to Believe. You can show support to your host by subscribing to the show and giving us a 5-star rating on your preferred platform. Check us out at Believe.com and search for BLEAV on YouTube.
You know when you're listening to a true crime story that has an unbelievable plot twist that makes you stop in your tracks? That's what our podcast, People Are the Worst, brings you with each episode. I'm Rachel.
And I'm Rebecca. We're identical twins who love true crime cases that make you say, didn't see that coming, and we hate the people responsible for them. Listen to People Are the Worst now on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts.